Okay, so I'm going to go over something called the midsegment and the midsegment theorem for triangles. So, a midsegment of a triangle is a segment that joins two midpoints of two sides of a triangle. So, for example, in the triangle we see here, we have three different midsegments. We have DF, which joins the midpoints D and F. We have FE, which joins the midpoints F and E of the sides BC and AC. And finally, we have DE. So these three different midsegments. So the midsegment theorem states that the midsegment of a triangle, which joins the midpoints of two sides of a triangle, is parallel to the third side and half the length of that side. So, for example, the side length DF is half the length of the side that's directly across from AC. So if AC, let's say, was 8 units, right, DF would be half of that. So half of 8, which is 4. So DF would be 4. Also, because E is a midpoint, both of these pieces, right, AE and EC, are also 4 units. So you can say that this midsegment is congruent to AE and EC. So if you want, you can draw in your three marks there to indicate that. The same thing goes for BC and sides AB. The midsegments DE is half of BC, and the midsegment FE is half of AB. So you could draw that in too if you wanted. So these would be congruent BF and DE and FC, and also uh, BD, DA, and FE would all be congruent. All right, so let's get into some problems that involve the midsegment theorem. So we have triangle QRS is formed by connecting the midpoints of the sides of triangle NLP. The lengths of the sides of triangle NLP are shown. Find the perimeter of the triangle. So the perimeter is the distance around the outside of a figure. So we want to find the perimeter of the triangle QRS. So we need to know sides SR, sides SQ, and sides QR. And we know that these are midsegments because it says it's formed by connecting the midpoints, right? So we're connecting these midpoints, so we know that these are midsegments. So if side PO is 6, the midsegment that is related to this side is SQ. And we know from the midsegment theorem that SQ is half the length of PO. So I'm just going to simply say 1/2 of PO will give me side SQ. Well, half of PO, we know the length is 6, is 3. So you can say 1/2 times 6 or just 6 divided by 2. Both will get you the same solution. So I'm going to label this as 3. And we're going to continue on. So let's look now at side SR. SR is directly across from, right, let's just indicate this. It's directly across from side NO, right? So I can say that half of NO is equal to SR. Well, half of NO, and we know NO is also 6, is 3. So this side is 3 as well. Now finally we have NP and QR. So QR is the midsegment related to side parallel to side NP. So we know that half of NP is equal to QR. Well, half of NP has half of 4 is 2, so this side is 2. Now finally we're asked to find the perimeter, so we're just simply going to add all of the side lengths up. So the perimeter is equal to 3 plus 3 plus 2, which is 8. All right, let's look at some more problems. So we have triangle KLM is formed by connecting the midpoints of the sides of triangle HIJ. The lengths of the sides of KLM are shown. Find the perimeter of triangle HIJ. These figures are not necessarily drawn to scale. So again, we're kind of using the same theorem, except in this case, we're actually given the mid-segment lengths, and we need to know the sides. So if we know that half of the larger side is equivalent to the length of the mid-segment, we could say that 2 times the length of the mid-segment is equivalent to the side length. So in this case, we know the length of the mid-segment is 3. So our side length HJ is 2 times 3, which is 6. So this entire side is 6. So basically, we're just going to continue to repeat this process until we know all the sides, and then we're going to add them all up. So the next one we have is mid-segment MK, which is listed as 2 units, and we have to find JI. So again, 2 times the length of MK will give me side length JI. So 2 times 2 is 4. So this side in green is 4. Oh, my mouse is kind of going crazy here. Okay. Last but not least, we're going to look at ML and side HI. So we see that ML is 3. So I'm simply going to say 2 times ML is equal to HI. So 2 times 3 is 6. So this side is 6 as well. And just like before, for perimeter, we sum our side lengths. So the perimeter of this figure is going to be 6 plus 6 plus 4, which is 16 units. Okay. Let's talk about maybe last one. So, what if we were given some algebraic expressions to represent side lengths? Well, we can use the same theorem to solve, but we're going to have to create an equation. So it says, in the diagram below, triangle KLM, N is the midpoint of KM, and O is the midpoint of LM. If NO is 8x minus 51, and KL is 58 minus 4x, what is the measure of NO? So let's start by labeling our picture. So you could draw a quick diagram on your paper if you don't have the figure available. So I'm going to label this as 8x minus 51, and I'm going to label KL as 58 minus 4x. All right. Well, I know that KL is twice the length of its associated midsegment, right, NO. So I could say, using the midsegment theorem, that 2 times the length of NO is equivalent to KL. So the length of NO is 8x minus 51, and KL we know is 58 minus 4x. So now I can use this equation to solve for x. So I'm going to distribute a 2 to both terms. So get 16x minus 102. And now I'm going to use my inverse operations to get my variable on one side and my constant on the other. So I'm going to add 4x to both sides of the equation. 16x plus 4x is 20x. And we bring down 58. And negative 4x plus 4x is 0. Finally, I'm going to, well, not finally, but then I'm going to add 102 to both sides, which is 160. So negative 102 plus 102 cancels out. Bring down 20x. 58 plus 102 is 160. And that did not write for some reason. And finally, I'm going to divide by 20 to see that x is 8. Just want to make sure I had that right. So what is the measure of NO is the question. So we're not asked what is x. So we're going to, last but not least, substitute the value 8 in for x. So NO is equal to 8 times 8 minus 51. 8 times 8 is 64. Minus 51 is 13. All right, let me know if you have any questions, and I'll be happy to answer them in the comments. Thank you, and have a great day.